Alright, so this is a video on how to know if your nether has structures in it so that you can play it, or if it has no structures, you can reset as soon as possible. You're going to want to learn microlensing or E-X-ray. I've got videos of that in the description. But the basics of it for this is you want to look at the second E number up here as soon as you enter the nether, and if it spikes, then that means there's a bastion. If it doesn't spike at all, then there's no bastion and you can reset. So I'm going to go in the nether, pause instantly, and then just watch the second E number. If it jumps up by like 10 or 20, that means a bastion is just loaded in. So I pause as soon as I get in the nether. These small little jumps are just striders spawning in, so we don't care about that. But if it jumps by quite a lot, 2 or 3 times in a row, then that means a bastion is just loaded in. So there, the number jumped by a lot, so a bastion is just loaded in. Now we're going to drop to 30 FOV, look around, there's a 35 over there, and 60 over here. This first E number we're looking at. So there's probably something back there, but the number's really high over here, so we're going to go over this way. And we've found a bastion. So obviously you're going to want to route the bastion, get your gold and everything, trade it with the piglins. Once you've got some free time, waiting for the piglins to trade or that kind of thing, what you're going to want to do is open up your pie chart, which is opened with Shift F3. So you can see down here in the bottom right, what you want to go to is tick. So it's controlled with your numbers. So you want to go to tick, and then level, and then entities, and then block entities. Now you can see here that there's a spawner, which means that there's either a treasure or hopefully a fortress loaded into the world. You kind of get a sense of whether or not it's a treasure or not, or a fortress, because a fortress has more spawners than a treasure. Treasure only has 1 spawner, fortress has 2. So if there's quite a high proportion of spawner to chest, it means it's probably a fortress. So if the E number never jumps up, it means that there's no bastion loaded in, and you can just reset instantly. Because if there's no bastion, it's better off that you just move into the next world. Try and get into a nether that has a bastion. Alright, so if you've got what you think is a fortress in the pie chart, then what you're going to want to do is drop down to 2 render distance so that it unloads all of the chunks, and then you want to refresh the pie chart just by closing it and opening it again with Shift F3. You want to open up chunk borders, which is with F3G, and then press F3 and F at the same time, which increases your render distance by 1 at a time. So you want to keep pressing that 1 at a time until the spawners load in again. So we're up to 14, 15, and at 16 the spawner has loaded in. So you want to look at the 16 number, just take 1 off of it. So 16 take away 1, 15, great job doing math. Refresh your pie chart again after dropping to 2 render distance again, and then go to 15. Now we're at 15. I don't think you need to refresh your pie, but you can if you want. Now we're gonna check each direction and see if the spawner loads in. So check this way, I crossed a border, a chunk border, the spawner didn't load in, so it is not north. It's not north. I'm going to check this way. It's not east either because the spawner hasn't loaded in. Check this way, it's not west, which means that it's going to be south. And if I cross this chunk border, the spawner loads in. So we know that the fortress is south of the bastion. So then you can put your render distance back to normal, turn off chunk borders, and just travel south. And found a fortress. And then obviously you want to do your fortress split, deal with blazes or kill strays, whatever you do. And then you want to look at your coordinates because you need a blind travel. So we're at around negative 290, 100, which is quite far away from ideal blind travel coordinates. So I'll have a link in the description of ideal blind travel coordinates. But basically, if you're going for, well, if you want to blind travel, you need to go to coordinates similar to these. So to refresh our memory, we're at about negative 290, 90. So we want to find the number that's closest to that. So I don't know, maybe we could go to 75, 200, that's kind of close. Or 100, 190, that's kind of close as well. Well, we'll swap these around. You can swap these numbers around. So since we were at 290, 90, we want to go to 190, 100. So go back. It'll only take a couple pearls. 190. Great. Just anywhere around this area, you know, because now that our numbers are pretty close to these blind travel coordinates, we're free to blind travel. If you're going for world record, which is not many of you watching, or if the terrain is awful, then you just want to blind anywhere as long as you're within like 330 or yeah, around 330 blocks in. Like if this opening wasn't here, you'd probably just want to blind travel here for world record. But if you're just trying to get a time on the boards, you're trying to go for sub anything really, sub 20, it doesn't really matter. Want to go back to ideal blind travel coordinates. Sometimes when you do the pie chart stuff, it's going to send you second ring. You don't really want to go back to first ring. So there's also a chart for second ring coordinates, which are quite different. You're not allowed to do math in the middle of a run, so you need to have these printed off or just have your chat backseat you or something.